this video, we're going to look at something that confuses almost everyone at first: converting between improper fractions and mixed numbers. You'll see this often in math problems, recipes, and measurements, so understanding how to move between the two forms will make everything else with fractions much easier. Let's start with what these terms actually mean. First, an improper fraction. This is a fraction where the numerator, the top number, is equal to or greater than the denominator. So things like 7/3. This means we have more than one whole. A mixed number, on the other hand, combines a whole number and a fraction, like 2 and 1/3. So both this 2 and 1/3 that's the mixed number and the 7/3 we saw earlier for the improper fraction represent the same amount. They're just written in different ways. Let's practice going from an improper fraction to a mixed number. Let's look at that fraction 7/3. Remember, another way to think about fractions is division. This is the same thing as 7 divided by 3. So how many times does 3 go into 7? And the answer is 2. Since 2 times 3 is 6, that tells us we have 1 left over. So the 2 is our whole number part. The 1 is the numerator, and the denominator remains the same, 3. So 2 and 1/3. As another example, let's look at 9/4. So we need to know what is 9 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8, so that tells us we have 1 left over. So the quotient tells us the whole number part, the 2. The remainder is the numerator, and the denominator is what it was originally. So 9/4 is the same thing as 2 and 1/4. Now let's go the other direction. Let's consider 4 and 2/5. To turn this into an improper fraction, we start by multiplying the whole number and the denominator. 4 times 5 is 20. We then add the numerator. 20 plus 2 is 22. So that tells me that my improper fraction is 22/5. The 4 times 5 is telling us how many whole number pieces we have, and then we add in the fractional number of pieces. So we have 20 that make up our 4 wholes. Since there are 4 of them, and each one is broken up into 5 equal pieces, then we have an additional 2 from the original numerator. Let's do another one, 1 and 3/4. We multiply the whole number part by the denominator. 1 times 4 is 4, and then we add the numerator. 4 plus 3 is 7. So 7/4. Let's take a closer look at this one. Here, I've drawn out my 1 and 3/4. I have 1 whole, and then 3 out of 4 equal pieces on the second one. But when we're dealing with fractions, we like everything to be the same size, so I'm going to break my original one up into 4 equal pieces as well. I can now see that there are 7 shaded pieces, and a single whole is made up of 4 pieces. The 1 times 4 part of this problem is what I'm doing with this first circle here. Multiplying the denominator by the whole number tells us how many pieces we have in our whole sections. And then the addition is adding in that additional fraction. Here's some easy to make mistakes to watch out for. First is mixing up the order. When converting a mixed number, some students add the whole number and numerator before multiplying, but that's backwards. We multiply first to figure out how many pieces are in the whole, and then we add our additional fraction pieces. Another is to change the denominator by accident. At any point in our conversions, the denominator should be exactly the same. And then finally, forgetting to reduce or simplify. Recalling that things like 3 2/4 are the same thing as 3 1/2. Here's one to think about. What is 3 4/4 as an improper fraction or as a whole number? At first, we might try converting this. Multiplying the whole number by the denominator, 3 times 4 is 12. We then add the numerator, 12 plus 4 is 16. So that gives us 16/4. And that is correct mathematically, but we need to look closer. 16/4 means 16 divided by 4, which is 4. So 3 4/4 simplifies to 4 wholes. When the fraction part equals a whole, we can just combine them. If you ever get stuck, think of the denominator as how many parts make one whole. You are just counting how many total parts you have in all. And remember, improper to a mixed number means divide. A mixed number to an improper means multiply, then add. You've now learned how to switch back and forth between improper fractions and mixed numbers, a skill that will help you with adding, subtracting, and solving word problems. You're building a solid foundation step by step, and that's exactly how math confidence grows. Keep it up, you're doing great.